Hiya. Thank you. I just want to stop for a moment and just thank you. Thank you for choosing to take such sacred time out of your days to just stop by, whether you're curious or really interested to feel the information that's coming from this channel. I want to thank you so much for giving us the time of day to be a part of the rising of this beautiful movement of light in this world. And because of that, within the next sacred breath, I want to exchange with you the light of awakening consciousness. And I can't stop. I just can't stop saying thank you so much for choosing just to stop by because time is so precious to everyone. And with that, I want to tell you it is an absolute beautiful time to be alive on this planet. If you don't feel so, keep watching the videos because you will see and feel that it really is because we are changing lives. You are changing lives. We all collectively are part of this quiet revolution. So for all of you who are here and you're taking in these videos, these messages, just like and subscribe. Allow us to grow in a way that would allow other people who simply are wondering, asking themselves the same question you were, to find us and click that notification bell so you know when something new is going to drop, and share this message with anyone else you think maybe needs a gentle nudge in a sense of love and compassion to kind of redirect them to their own beautiful light and love. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Hi, beautiful souls, soul shifters. I have a message today, and it's piggybacking off the last channel message I received from Yeshua. And there was one phrase that was used there. Yeshua made a reference to spiritual amnesia. And right after, I kept thinking about it and I asked, I wanted to know, I wanted to deep dive into what the spiritual amnesia was. So I've been basically sitting with the essence of Yeshua, which is such a beautiful energy. What I have found is that whenever I try to do that, if I was to speak it thoroughly as it's happening, as the message is coming through, I will probably be crying right through, and I don't know yet why. I don't know if it's my body who's not acclimated yet to the unconditional love that comes from the essence of Yeshua, Jesus. I'm not sure, but I am just profoundly overwhelmed with joy and with love so much that I just cry right through, okay? So I just record, and then what I do is I transcribe it so I can read it. Because if I am doing it and I'm channeling it to you on spot and I'm crying, it's going to probably not have you receive it the right way, okay? All right. So, because of this spiritual amnesia, I wanted to find out exactly what that meant. And there is a lot of information that came through that I didn't know of before. And it's profound. But I think I didn't receive these messages before because if I did before, I would have been very judgmental of the things that I'm thinking now that I wasn't told before. However, I am coming from such a compassionate state now. I understand that, man can only do as much as man can do, right? And I'm also I feel refreshed in my mind from the message from Yeshua today, who still confirms to me that no matter how much words or text or how things are perceived might be convoluted, the actual essence and the blueprints still remain if we allow ourselves to see it, okay? So I'm just going to go right into this message from Yeshua, okay? So I started to receive visuals of almost like I was on this site and this huge plan opened up and it was a blueprint. And I thought to myself, what does this make sense? I'm looking at a blueprint. And Yeshua said to me, today I give you the blueprint for all to follow, the blueprint for humanity. And I think it's so, so beautiful. So let's begin. So it started like this. Beloved ones, you have been taught to worship the miracle, but not to understand the man. Yet I walk this earth as both a son of light and a soul in flesh. I felt hunger, exhaustion, betrayal, sadness, and fear. And by the time Yeshua said this to me, there was just this imprint of these are the things that really are our weaknesses. These are the things that we attach to the darkness or to the devil archetype. You know, the fear, the sadness, the anger, the betrayal, all these things are imprinted with that archetype. And if we allow ourselves to be able to examine what our relationship is with anger or fear, it begins to basically allow us to see our way through. This is the blueprint, according to Yeshua's explanation. I was tempted by anger and surrounded by misunderstandings. And when he said this, I was seeing a visual almost, and I think I went back to the story of Yeshua being tempted by our perception of the devil within those times. And it wasn't about talking about something that Yeshua could do that we can't. It was a blueprint, a instruction manual to say, even in these times when you are tested, allow yourselves to make your choice from a space of understanding. How do I react to this fear that I'm feeling? This is your blueprint, basically, is what he was saying. And he said this too was part of the blueprint. I came not to show you perfection, but reflection, to remind you that divinity and humanity were never meant to be enemies. You call my temptations encounter with the devil, but truly they were encounters with choice. I was being shown the same whisper that every human hears. The whisper that says, choose fear, choose doubt, choose power, choose anger, choose greed. And he kept going on, and I don't remember all the words, so I won't make it up. But after he finished spelling out a whole lot of words, and he said, and I chose love. That is the blueprint. Each trial I faced was to show you that the kingdom is not built by avoidance, but by awareness, by meeting darkness and remembering you are the light. When you feel anger, rise. When sadness pulls you down, when fear clouds your heart, you stand in the same garden I once stood in. And in that moment, you hold the same keys. You decide which voice you will amplify, the voice of love that liberates or the voice of fear that enslaves. Humanity has sought to escape accountability through worship, hoping my sacrifice would erase their responsibility. But I never asked for your guilt. I asked for your growth. The cross was not meant to make you small. It was meant to remind you that even when the world breaks you, you can still choose love. There is room for expansion. This is a living blueprint to recognize your power in every thought, your divinity in every decision, your light in every shadow. Yes? Okay, so here I was asking him about the text, the information in the text from the way I learned it, and I had a lot of questions because there are a lot of things in there that canceled out the other, like one talking one thing about this, this God that's so jealous, and then another one speaking of Yeshua who's so compassionate. And I was trying to put together, this beautiful orchestrated blueprint to say, Yeshua, then what do I follow? Because some of them are, talking in a kind of barbaric way to me, and the others are telling you about love and compassion and loving your brothers, as yourself. And he said, yes, the texts you read hold fragments of truth and also the fingerprints of those who feared that truth. They took my story and wrapped it in control, turning my example into an escape route instead of an invitation. But still the truth breathes. Between every verse and contradiction, you can still feel it. The vibration of unconditional love, the call to personal responsibility. I did not come for one nation, one religion, or one name. I came to show that the kingdom is within the human heart. And he did this. And the path to that kingdom is choice to feel, to forgive, to act in love when it's hardest to do so. By the time he got to this, I'm seeing all this hunger in this world, and how many people who have it who are passing somebody else and looking down on them. And he was showing me that's God in that person, and that's God in those hungry children, and they're propagating it and not understanding that that is a choice they have in themselves, and they aren't making a choice of love. They're instead making a choice of greed, or all these other words that he called were the words of darkness and not of light, basically. He went on to say, each day you are writing your own gospel with your actions. Each thought becomes a verse. Each choice is a chapter in the scripture of your soul. So I ask you now, be awakened as I did, to live aware, to love courageously, to stand accountable for the light you carry within. Because the blueprint is not a map to me, it's a mirror of you. So by the time we got to this point, remember in the first one where I saw everyone with this beautiful orb light, every human being holding this light, which is the light of God that is already within you. This light was so bright that when you looked at people, you were actually seeing a reflection of yourself. And I got the coolest download. And I finally understood it here. And let me explain to you why I understood it. I'll come back to this. Visually, I understand that a person who's right now living a life, you're in a household, and I can give this example because I just spoke to a beautiful human being, and I had to say to her, the message I received from Yeshua just now, it's like it's for you, but it's for everyone also. And what he means by mirror of you is this. You're in a situation now and it feels as if you've hit rock bottom, and you don't understand why the people around you have changed, and people are treating you unkind, and they're just not supporting you as much. And what Yeshua showed and reflected to me is, have you poured into you? Have you given yourself time? Have you made a choice within this moment? Stop for a moment and mirror yourself with the individual who's angry. All they're showing is anger because of their own soul path. But if you're triggered by this anger, do not point a finger, Yeshua said. Do not be judgmental. Identify, why are you triggered by this person's anger? Why are you also angry within? Because if you're carrying the light, you will immediately know to meet them with compassion. And Yeshua said, always acknowledge to yourself, what causes me to feel angry? What's the trigger? Why, when this individual, this situation, this newscast, whatever it is happens, I feel this anger or I feel this fear? And he says, now is you allowing yourself to see your light and feel how you are reacting to others. And he says, because you mirror something, and when you start to look into it, you'll realize, wow, he's angry. He's showing anger, but somehow within me, I'm angry also. What's my relationship with this anger? And he could show me, okay, when I was 16, I had this experience with this type of individual. And because of that, every other person that I see who appears to be this individual or has the same dynamics or facial structure or whatever it is, whenever I find myself in a situation where I am fearful, I go back to this state, and this is why I'm triggered by it. And Yeshua said, well, now you have an opportunity to face it and see, is this fear that I'm holding on to, or anger or shame, is it working for me now? Is it allowing me to live a fulfilled life? Because will I keep walking this earth path, being triggered by every time somebody says or does something? Or will I choose to instead allow my light and my compassion to be felt and leave them in their own soul journey? They can feel my light. It's an exchange that you exchange with them. When you choose not to be triggered, when you choose to observe, when you choose to simply be a light within the space, because that's the whole purpose of you being here. And I went to another stage where, okay, so there's a beautiful woman and she's in a relationship with somebody, and all of a sudden it's not going right. It's not going right. And you are absolutely bitter within your being, and you're so angry because I'm not getting supported, and I'm so angry, and nobody sees me, and I have to be working, and I'm not getting help in this house. I'm not getting help to do this. And what I was shown is, do you understand that although that person is being bitter at you and angry at you, do you know that you also have a choice? You have a part to play. So why are you triggered when you have to point and say, you are the reason why I'm no longer happy? And Yeshua says, look at that finger and close your fist. Place it in your heart and ask yourself, why am I triggered? Why do I really feel not supported? He says, if you will stop for a moment, you will see the moment that you started within this relationship, you probably had somebody say to you, in order to be my wife, this is what I need. And what you did in that stage, you knew in your heart that this is not something that would allow you to evolve to your truest self. However, you chose to say, okay, I will. Or you chose to swallow instead of speak your truth. Or you chose to settle instead of expanding your light. And now that you have chosen to be less than you deserve to be, now you are resentful and hateful and judgmental. And Yeshua says, pause for a moment and reflect on this. And all you have to do is now you start to pour into you. Now you start to take sacred time and stop identifying yourself. I'm only a wife. I'm only a mother. I'm only a career person. When is the last time you stopped and said, hey, you said, I am Nick. I am a girl. I love me. I am a woman. Oh my gosh, this is me. When is the last time you stopped and you started to look at you to say, the love I'm seeking outside of myself really is here. So I am the one who really made a choice to settle for this. So now, I'm going to identify this fear that I feel when I'm triggered by your own fear and your own anger, and this anger that I feel, and, this disbelief. Oh my gosh, I don't deserve, because I need to have somebody to love me, because this is how you treat yourself. This individual knows that, oh my gosh, I can stay an hour later, because she doesn't know how to love herself. So she needs to wait until I come through the door to feel love. And Yeshua says, well, you choose. That was your choice. So now, are you ready to stand and speak your truth? And as he said before, and make it burn, but not burn to hurt, burn with compassion. I've never quite looked on things this way, to say how somebody reacts to me is because of a mirror. I am putting this mirror up so you can feel my anger and my judgment of you because of a choice I made a long time ago I forgot about. But now I'm so resentful to you because you're not giving me what I think I deserve. And the angels, Yeshua, all of these beautiful beings will say, have you said it to yourself? Have you trusted yourself to be your anchor? Have you trusted yourself to be the one who loves you first? Have you trusted yourself to be the one who says, I'm pouring into you? So how can you point a finger at somebody else? This is what you're giving. You're giving an energy out there to say, I don't know how to love myself. So, my gosh, I need you to love me. And it gives you now such leverage, such power to choose when to give it to me. So I feel depleted. And we must start to take this active choice in ourselves. I learned something today. So I go again. Yeshua said, because the blueprint is not a map of me. It's a mirror of you. And the kingdom does not wait above the clouds. It blooms every time you choose compassion over control, truth over comfort, forgiveness over fear. Yeshua went on to say, beloved, you are the continuation of what I began. You are the second coming of understanding itself. You are the hands through which God still creates and the heart through which heaven still speaks. Remember, you are not here to escape darkness. You are here to transform it. And that was a message today, which for me was profound. And it was timely, because by the time I got on this Zoom call with this beautiful, I love you so much. I love you so much, my beautiful girl. Yeshua actually gave me the answer that she wanted. without me knowing that I was getting a blueprint for somebody who I was going to speak to next. Because I would not have looked at it that way to say to an individual, if you are finding yourself in a situation that's less than comfortable, I want you, instead of pointing fingers and judging someone else or something else for making you feel uncomfortable, the first thing you should do is identify within yourself, what is my relationship with this discomfort that I feel? And now you face it, you acknowledge it and own it. Okay, why do I feel such discomfort from this other person's choice of darkness or shadow of discomfort themselves? Because whatever is within me should not be affected from someone outside of me. It should pour out of me. And when you identify that, you'll realize, oh my gosh, this is what I mirror. Because at some point in my life, there was something within me that caused me to make that choice to settle, to not speak up for myself. And I allowed this to be transmitted. I allowed this to be a mirror of myself. So now I have a choice. I'm going to change it. I'm going to make changes that allows me to feel fulfilled. I'm going to have conversation that allows me to feel complete. I'm going to be around people that makes me feel whole. I'm going to find myself with equally yoked individuals who are ready, absolutely ready to pour into me. Why? Because I mirror that. Because I know what ecstasy feels for me. I know what love feels for me. I know what it feels to pour into me. And because of that, this is what I mirror in this world. So I won't have somebody or people who think, oh my gosh, I can just tap into her and take her power away. I can tap into them and take their light away because they are triggered by this, because this is all they mirror. I love this blueprint to help us to understand that every story in all these beautiful texts that we talk about, that we complain and we argue across the table about, my text is right and yours is wrong, and that story is right and that is wrong. And it's one thing that Yeshua said: despite how many hands of man have touched all these sacred texts across every single religion, the light of God ensured that the blueprint is kept in every one of these texts. Follow the stories, not the convoluted stuff. The stories. The stories, no matter how they change them, it still shows and proves to you that beyond a reasonable doubt, these individuals got support from ethereal sources. Just by believing, just by having hope, just by building faith, just from a prayer, that they were in possible situations and somehow it worked out. Just because they trusted, just because they knew they were more than just flesh and bones. They knew, oh my gosh, I can trust. I know the Spirit of God will help me. I know prayer will help me. I know that I don't need to contain God for myself here, because God is for one and all. And every one of these stories are our blueprints. So I want you to really think about it. Are you going through your Ruth period, your Yeshua period, your Joseph period? All the stories from all the other great texts across all religions. What period are you going through now? What season are you going through now? And mirror your life now with that story that proves to you, listen up. I am supported. I can be guided. All I need to do is trust. Trust in a prayer, trust in faith. They say faith as small as a mustard seed. Well, if that's all you need, trust. Trust that you don't need to follow one text, follow one guide, follow a line. Simply move from your space of feeling, your heart, and make choices that allows you to feel at peace. Walking this path is walking in compassion, walking in love, not judging as much and holding on to hate and fear and sadness, understanding that when your body starts to make you feel fear within, and you can feel, oh my gosh, and you can feel this anxiousness coming up, the way I am taught now is understand that this is your body's alarm system going off to say, wait. Something has happened, and the reason why you feel fearful is because your body is telling you this is not of the light. This is something to distract you. And we simply want you to tap into the space and identify, what's my relationship with this fear? Why is it causing me this way? Or something happens, a conversation, you observe something or you witness something, or somebody says something and you have a trigger and you start to feel within your body the anger, the rage. You can feel as if there's fire building within you. It's your body's alarm system going off to say, wait, 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 wait. Pause for a moment. Well, do you feel what's happening? This volcano is about to erupt and it will not be of light. It will be of darkness. And all the guides are saying is feel, observe, pause and allow. Take a moment and reflect. It's not about always reacting. It's how will I want to be perceived when I deal with this situation? So when your body's alarm system goes off and you feel as if, oh my God, I'm going to cry, pause for a minute. Oh my gosh, this is not something I prefer to feel right now. What is my relationship with this sadness? And you can tap into it to say, oh, it's because that person said that. But that really doesn't have anything to do with me. Why am I affected by this so bad? And then you can assess yourself from that and recalibrate and press the reset button and realize, oh my gosh, that shadow, that stone, that rock really isn't mine. And allow yourself to walk in compassion and allow your light to be felt. I know not everyone will probably resonate and understand these messages, but man, it blows my mind to not relearn, but to expand on knowingness, expand on this love that we thought was just, oh my God, I want somebody to love me. And it's more than that. It's about loving just to live, loving to express a piece of God every day. And I love that. So the person you pass on the street, that time when Yeshua spoke about the hunger, is actually God in the form of a man. The person you could help that you just didn't is an aspect of God, a mirror of something else. We get these tests every single day. How do you choose to deal with it? How do you choose to create your own heaven on earth? Because if we're not treating ourselves so well here, and we can't treat our neighbors well, and we don't care about this planet, and all we want to do is talk and judge and talk and judge and argue and dispute and be divided because we are waiting to go to a heaven space, I mean, isn't that kind of sad? Not to try to make where you are now, create your own heaven and earth where you are first, so you can express the love of God here, so somebody can feel compassion from you here, so somebody can understand, oh my gosh, that's what it feels like to build on faith. That's what it feels like to build on prayer, where somebody can witness you and witness your bravery through something so atrocious, but all you had to give was love and compassion. That's a secret sauce, and I hope you understand. With that, thank you for listening. And if you don't understand, as always, feel into these messages when they come. And I will try to acclimate my body to be able to express Yeshua's message when it comes free flow, so I don't have to record and then transcribe. But for right now, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love in the air, There's a lot of love in us. Every time you choose to be compassionate to somebody just because, that's a Christ consciousness within you. You're never separate from God. You can't be. It's impossible. You are this light. Pray. Pray for yourself, for your families, for your country. Pray for the neighbors you never met. Pray for the countries that are now healing themselves. Pray for the countries that are, simply rising themselves and allowing people to be, as free as they can. Pray for everything you have right now, the breath in your lungs. Give gratitude for that. And live. Let's just live, huh? Not waiting to die, but living to live. Because death is a sure thing, and so is the birth. The in-between is the sticky part that so many people want to run away from. So as you walk on this beautiful sand of life, these rocks that you observe, it's okay for you to pick them up every so often. You pick up a rock of anger, a rock of sadness, a rock of fear, and you can experience it. You're a human being. This is the whole point of duality. But remember the whole idea of resonance, the whole idea of you actively and sitting and focusing on one energetic state at a time, either by yourself or collectively. It causes just this I don't know, this field of resonance that really does send back everything you send out there. And I always ask you, when you build a field of resonance on anger or on fear or on dividedness, what is the energy source that it feeds? Because it always feeds something. It's not an energy source of God. When everybody collectively gets angry about something, or you within your household are so angry or livid or fearful or sad, when you focus on that field of resonance, that one emotional state for quite a while, one person or more than one, you create a power source. And I want you to ask, when I feed into this anger and into this rage and this sadness and this fear, whose power source am I lighting up? Because it's not God's. So always think about that. When you feel the anger coming up, remember, who am I going to feed with this? Because I choose not to feed darkness. Because I see, and you also see, what the darkness feeds on and what it creates. And we don't need any more of that. So with that, love and light to you. Bye. You asked, we delivered. OMG. Okay, so Soul Shift Academy is now live on School app, SKOOL. I want you to click on the link to join this beautiful sacred community. Matter of fact, it's a movement. Now, I have created this beautiful space for you for so many reasons. It's for coaching, it's for mentorship, it's for online courses, it's for spiritual courses, it's for question and answer classes. It's just a beautiful ecosystem that allows us to have these beautiful conversations, do a lot of decluttering spiritually and physically, and aligning yourself to tap into your creative, divine, God-given gifts that most of us forgot about for a long time. So tap the link below. Soul Shift Academy is now live. Join. It is free for now. Why? Because you're founding members. You're the ones who call it in. You deserve to go in without paying a dime. Okay? So tap into this beautiful resource. See you over there. Bye.